All right, so why the heck are we charged premiums? Why do we have to pay premiums? How are they calculated? And what exactly does a coin dealer get out of that? Well, let's have a look and find out. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about bullion premiums and how they're calculated. And I'm going to use JM Bullion's little article that they posted here, and so there's no worry about if I can use this on my channel or not. They say right here, they leave a note right here at the top of their article saying, please consider sharing this with your friends. You guys are all my friends, so that's what I'm going to do. And based on some of the comments I got in the last couple of videos I posted about me trading some of my silver for gold, I believe there's a few misconceptions or misunderstandings about premiums and how they factor into the value of your bullion. I just think this article is relevant. I'm going to leave a link to this article in the description so you can go back and read this at your leisure, but I strongly suggest you do that. Okay, so contrary to popular belief, JM does not stand for Johnson Matthey. JM Bullion is just their own company. They're a fast-moving company. They just acquired or just bought Provident Metals. So now Provident Metals is a JM Bullion company. I'm not sure if they're going to remain Provident Metals or if they're just going to be absorbed under the JM Bullion brand, but that just gives you an idea how fast-moving or fast-growing JM Bullion is. So I'm going to kind of attempt to break this down and kind of answer some of those questions that I got in the comments, and we'll just take it from there. So if you guys are interested and you want to see how premiums are calculated, let's go. All right, so this is a breakdown here. This is an average price composition of common bullion. Now this is just an average. Of course, you know all these are based on spot price, but the premiums that they charge, I'm sure this is how JM Bullion works. The premium that they charge, the percentage is pretty much fixed. But of course, you know that spot price is going to change, so that overall price is going to change with spot price. But they're going to remain 20% over spot price for Eagles, 16% over spot price for Canadian Maple Leaves, and 4% over spot price for American Gold Eagles. All right, so before we go any further, let's go ahead and discuss the difference between premium and spot price. Okay, so this is important. So we know what spot price is. Spot price is the current price per ounce exchanged on the global commodities market. Okay, so that whatever spot price is determined by certain entities like COMEX, NYMEX, and some other things. There's a body that determines silver and gold spot price, and then there's a different body that determines platinum and palladium, and how that's done, I have no idea. I'm sure many of you do know how that's done. I just never been able to figure out how that's done. I mean, is it voodoo? Is it black magic? Is it crystals? I mean, who knows? But it's determined, and that's what it is. It is the current spot price determined by the global commodities market. Okay, so what are premiums? Okay, premiums are the additional price charged for a bullion product over its current spot price. So anything over spot price that you're charged is the premium. And the calculation for bullion premiums depends on 5 key factors. Okay, so we're going to go through these key factors very quickly. The current bullion market supply and demand factors, the volume of bullion offered or bid upon, the bullion seller's objectives, that's a big one, the type of bullion products being sold, and local, national, and global economic conditions. All right, so supply and demand. Okay, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. And like I said, I'm going to leave a link so you can go back and read this more in depth. So the thing that I feel is relevant for us as stackers and not big businesses that go out and buy thousands and thousands of ounces, the things that are relevant for us is bullion dealers are businesses, and they are actively trying to balance product, inventory, and profitability. Okay, so an example of that will be too much inventory, higher costs, too little inventory, angry customers. Okay, so just for an example, if I go into my local coin store and he doesn't have the bullion that I'm looking for, and let's say spot price is exactly where I want it to be, the price is exactly where I want it to be, and he's out of it, probably for that reason, then I'm going to go to the competition. That's just the way I am. And I'll pay a little bit higher price, as most of us will pay a little bit higher price for that bullion to take advantage of the price, take advantage of spot price being where it is. Okay, so that lack of inventory for the competition is not going to be lost on the coin store that has the inventory. So what is he going to do? Well, he's going to raise his price to take advantage of that. So if you go into your local coin store and he's out of, let's say, Buffalo rounds, and you're looking for them, when you go to get Buffalo rounds from his competition, chances are the price is going to be a little bit higher. The premium is going to be a little bit higher because that local coin store is aware of the lack of inventory with his competition. So that's pretty much how supply and demand works for us as individual bullion buyers. Now, if you want to read this, how it relates to like big businesses and companies and people that buy, thousands of ounces, then feel free to go read that. I say it's interesting. I read it, but how it relates to me, and I'm sure many of you, is just this part right here, where it relates to our local coin stores. All right, so economic conditions. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here at all. Basically, when economies are good and everybody's comfortable with the fiat currency that they're receiving and putting in the bank, then usually things are going great. If the economy is going bad, or if people fear that the economy is going to go bad, they're going to tend to want to put their finances someplace safe, someplace safer, and a lot of times that's precious metals. So a lot of times if there's global economic unease or nervousness in the markets, people tend to buy more precious metals, and more demand means higher prices, and that affects the premiums. All right, so how does volumes being sold affect the premiums? Okay, every seller incurs costs on each transaction, such as time, overhead, or payment processing costs, be it check, cash, credit card. There's going to be an expense in processing that transaction. Okay, for a seller, a single transaction of 1 ounce may have similar transaction costs as 100 ounces, as a 100 ounce transaction. Okay, therefore, transactions with higher volumes of bullion have the cost spread out. As a result, premiums tend to be higher on small volume purchases and lower on high volume purchases. Okay, so that's pretty much self-explanatory. If I can maximize my profit by spreading that initial cost out over 100 ounces, as opposed to taking that processing cost on the chin with just a small amount of profit I'm going to make off of 1 ounce, then the incentive is going to be for me to get you to buy more ounces. And that incentive is to offer you a break on premiums per ounce the more bullion you buy. Also, just as a side note, the mint, it costs the mint less to produce a 100 ounce bar than it would produce 100 1 ounce rounds. Okay, so there's a break that way too. So that's why if you go into your local coin seller and he has a 100 ounce bar, your premiums are going to be low per ounce with that 100 ounce bar than it would be for a 10 ounce bar or a 1 ounce bar or round. And so that's how buying in bulk or volume being sold affects the premiums. All right, bullion seller's objectives, and there are a few of these, but we'll start right here. Okay, so whether the seller is a large bullion dealer or a private individual, they will almost always want to yield the highest ask price they can get for the bullion they're selling. Now, I would take almost completely out of that and say that we will always want to get the highest price we can for our bullion. Okay, that being said, just because one wants to receive a large premium on their bullion they're selling, that doesn't necessarily mean that the market's demand or willing buyers will comply. So you go into the local coin store, you're going to buy you some eagles. Those eagles, based on spot price, which is, let's say, $20. Spot price happens to be $20 when you go in to your local coin seller to buy your eagles. Okay, so you're going to pay at least $2 in premiums over those eagles. Now, you're going to pay at least $2 because that's how much the bullion dealer bought those for from the mint. The mint is going to charge him $2 over spot for each eagle that he buys. So you're going to be charged at least $2 over spot. Most of the times more. than $2 over spot for American Silver Eagles. Okay, so now is that eagle worth $22? Absolutely not. That eagle is still only worth spot price. Basically, we're going to be charged premiums. There's no getting around that. But I just thought this was just an interesting thing to pass on, because based on some of the comments I got in my last video, a lot of people weren't really aware of how premiums are calculated and how they relate to your stack or the value of your stack. I did get a 100-ounce bar, and I'll share that with you guys. Didn't go so well, but anyway, you know me, I'm going to keep it real. So I'm going to share that with you. And also, I bought some constitutional silver from Phil, and we had a little discussion about some things you guys might find interesting. So that'll be the next video that I'm posting. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you want to see more of this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up. Please leave me a comment, and let's just keep doing what we're doing. Keep stacking. Peace.